So Chido Obi-Martin's best attribute is obviously his goal scoring, and we all know that, as his stats in the under-18s categorically prove that. However, in this video I'm first going to be breaking down why tactically Chido Obi-Martin could be the perfect modern day centre forward for Manchester United. Alongside that, I'm going to discuss a semi-realistic pathway for him to get to the first team, where he could go on loan, what system he would fit into, but I'll also be recommending Manchester United sign a Norwegian striker who has just turned 17, who is stylistically different to Chido Obi-Martin, to the point where I actually think in the future they could work well as a front two. But before that, how good is Chido Obi-Martin actually? Well, frankly, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that in the under-18s, this guy is scoring at a rate that you'd expect Erling Haaland to be scoring at. I did a previous video on him breaking down those stats, as well as comparing him in the under-18s to Greenwood, so I'll leave that linked in the description. But in terms of the eye test, Obi-Martin has a sort of composure and ice-cold finishing that would lead you to categorising the youngster as a generational talent in terms of his potential. And I don't think that's even an exaggeration, because his goal-scoring numbers as a 15 and 16-year-old in the under-18s Premier League for Arsenal last season are extraordinary. So extraordinary that if you aren't categorising him as a generational talent, I don't think you can really categorise any young striker as that. But it's not his veteran level composure in front of goal that potentially could make him a key tactical weapon for United. See, if you look at strikers like Osimhen, Haaland, Sesko, Boniface, Watkins and even Højlund to a degree, what do they have in common in comparison to the last generation of strikers? Well, before I tell you that, let me tell you about the jersey of this video. It's 2006-2007, the Manchester United Ronaldo one. I prefer the long sleeve one just because that's what Ronaldo would also wear, but they've also got other retro Manchester United shirts, as well as the new season jerseys from both Manchester United and other clubs as well. If you use code Atlantis at checkout, you will get a discount. A link will be in my Instagram bio, which I will leave linked in the description. So all those strikers that I previously mentioned are all incredibly physical and athletic players, and the reason why this is such an asset to have in the modern game is because of how well coordinated the high pressing is in the Premier League and around Europe. Whilst a striker like Xerxes is perfect for linking the play on the ground, receiving threaded passes between the lines and laying the ball off efficiently for on-running players, this does rely on United being able to play through the press on the ground through the centre of the pitch. However, sometimes you just have to go long if all of your short passing options are being closed off, or in most cases the opposition have gone man for man at the back, meaning that if United can go back to front quickly, there's a lot of space in the middle third and in behind the back line to exploit. And Chido Obi-Martin's physicality and athleticism, just like Erling Haaland, makes him the exact type of striker that you want in this situation. Someone who has a technical ability to drop off between the lines and link play with his back to goal. Not to the level of Xerxes, but still very efficiently. But at the same time, he would also allow United to go more direct, having the physicality and stature to receive lofted passes into his chest or head, and either be able to knock the ball down for a teammate in his vicinity, or control the ball on his chest or thigh and then bring other players into play. But not just that, he also has the pace to drag his centre-back deep, initially looking like he wants to receive the ball to his feet or chest, dragging the centre-back higher up the pitch before turning quickly and sprinting into that space he has created via his deeper movement, looking for a long pass to release him. And so Chido Obi-Martin's physicality and athleticism makes him an asset in terms of becoming a target man in the build-up phase for United to beat the press in a more direct manner, but his value continues and grows as he gets into the final third, obviously just from a goal scoring perspective, but also having a player of Obi-Martin's stature is going to give United a target inside of the box that they don't really have with Xerxes, and this can be incredibly useful when United are chasing a goal against sides who are prepared to sit deep and compact, congesting the space between the lines. And currently United do struggle in these types of situations because we aren't set up to get players in optimal crossing positions, whilst also not having the sort of centre forward that you can bank on to win aerial duels and put those chances away. Now this is an area of the young Dane's game that will of course need to improve, as most of his goals, as you would expect, do come with his feet, either from one-on-ones or from shooting positions around the box. However, he has shown his aerial ability from crossing situations, and I think this is a massively underrated attribute for centre forwards to have in the modern game, as it not only offers you the ability to go more direct in deeper areas of the pitch, progressing the ball forward more directly, but also the opportunity to create a chance simply for a cross into the box, which in turn is going to make the opposition a lot more hesitant when it comes to sitting deep and dropping into their defensive third and their own box. I'm going to come on to a few different pathways for Chido Obi-Martin to make it to the United first team in just a minute, but now let's come on to the other teenage striker who I actually think from a stylistic point of view would work very well in a front two with United's 16-year-old wonder kid. and that player is Norwegian side Stabæk's 17-year-old striker Oscar Spitten-Nystetter. Spitten-Nystetter is slightly different to Chido Obi-Martin from a stylistic point of view, being more of a Harry Kane type of forward than a Haaland or a Sesko, preferring to drop off from the forward line, and just as Harry Kane and Benzema do and did in that deeper lying forward role, Spitten-Nystetter has the upper body strength and the ball control to be able to receive the ball to feet under pressure and be able to not just link play and retain possession, but also use his low centre of gravity to feint and turn, wriggling away from the pressing player and driving forward. And just like Harry Kane, he's also an astute finisher and striker of the ball, having a similar kind of technique in the way that he strikes the ball around the box, and so I think Spitten-Nystetter in the future, not anytime soon, could actually prove to be an eventual upgrade on Joshua Zirkzee in a few years time. As well as Zirkzee's link play is elite, I still think that he has the same issue as Gabriel Jesus in front of goal, not quite having the level of movement, composure and decisiveness with his finishing to enable him to pick up 15 plus Premier League goals at the moment. The Norwegian teenager is obviously not proven in Europe yet, but from the eye test you can definitely see that his shooting in and around the box is one of his best attributes, particularly his ability to drive the ball hard and low across the keeper. I think signing him from Stabæk is a no-brainer, with his contract there expiring in the summer of 2026, and so come January he'll have just 18 months left on his contract, and Stabæk's highest ever transfer fee received came back in 2021 for Antonio Nusa, being just €5.7 million, around £4.5 million. So United could sign him in January for around £3 to £4 million with some add-ons, which just from a pure financial point of view is a deal that United should be doing. As while Spitten-Nystetter may not necessarily be guaranteed to develop into an elite level striker, I can't see a scenario where he isn't worth at least £15 to £25 million in around 2, 3 or 4 years time, which would be a profit of between £12 to £20 million potentially. And so United could potentially pick up two of the best under 18 strikers in Europe for less than £5 million combined, but would either Spitten-Nystetter or Chido Obi-Martin be ready for United's first team? But just quickly before I come on to that, if you want access to some of my articles, unreleased videos and a Telegram group chat, go over to my Patreon. I'll leave it linked in the description and the comment section below. But whilst I would like to see Chido Obi-Martin at least be given a chance in the first team this season, as we have seen strikers immediately make the jump from youth football to senior football and look ready straight away, with players like Mbappe, Anelka, Rooney, Owen and Ronaldo Nazario all coming to mind, I think you have to treat that outcome as an exception. Yes, it is possible that Chido Obi-Martin manages to establish himself as a first team player by the end of the season, but realistically, given that he's still only 16, 17 in November, the sensible pathway for both him and Oscar Spitten-Nystetter would be to keep both of them in the under 21s for the rest of the season, as I do think both players are ready for that level, ready to move up from the under 18s. Then by pre-season next summer we can have a look at them before maybe sending them on loan, with the view of them having a year in senior football age 18 before coming back to United the following summer. In terms of where I think both players should go on loan, as I've said before, Celtic for Chido Obi-Martin, because I like the Scottish League. I think it's a good level where Chido Obi-Martin can get game time and be able to showcase his abilities, particularly his goal scoring, without having to worry about struggling for minutes. The Championship could be a good option as well, although I do think it would depend on the club, as I want Chido Obi-Martin playing a possession dominant style where he isn't just solely going to be used as a target man to play direct balls into, but he's going to be able to develop his game on the ground with his back to goal, as developing this particular ability alongside his goal scoring, physicality and athleticism would make him a very well-rounded modern striker. And the same goes for Spitten-Nystetter. However, with him, his link play is already one of the best parts of his game, and so I would like to see him develop his goal scoring ability, particularly his movement and his ability to get into high value shooting positions. The Belgian Pro League also seems like a very good destination for young strikers to develop, with the likes of Victor Boniface, Victor Osimhen, Jonathan David and Lois Openda all developing there in their early careers. Out of the two players, however, I definitely think Chido Obi-Martin is the one who's got higher probability of coming into the Manchester United side and having the sort of impact that we saw from young forwards like Anelka, Mbappe and even Marcus Rashford at Manchester United, but that is probably more of a dream scenario. If we're being realistic, the pathway for both players should be a season in the under 21s, which would be this season for Obi-Martin, and then sending them on loan somewhere like like Celtic or the Belgian Pro League, before then coming back to United the following season, aged 18, soon to be 19, potentially ready to compete for a starting spot if they are at that level. If not, then they can go on another loan, because they are so young at this point, there's no point rushing them forward into the first team, especially when there's strikers like Højlund, Xerxes, and even Wheatley who are currently ahead of them. And as a duo together, I think they would work well in front too, with Spit and Naysetter playing that role of a deeper lying forward, dropping off and linking the play just as Lautaro Martinez does for Inzaghi's Inter Milan, whilst Chido Obi-Martin could play the role that we see Marcus Thuram play for Inter Milan, providing the physicality to play as a target man when needed, but also being able to stretch the play with quick runs, peeling off into the channel, and most importantly providing a major goal scoring threat inside of the box, both with the ball at his feet, alongside utilising his aerial ability via crosses from the flanks. And this is a type of scenario where having a functioning multi-club network could massively benefit Manchester United in the long run, as if you had a manager in the network at one of the clubs, of course at the right level, who used the front two in their system, then we could see how Chido Obi-Martin and Oscar Spit and Naysetter work as a front two, which would be a massive benefit to United, seeing how both players play together and how they could potentially be used in a United system once they are integrated into the first team. So thank you for watching, let me know your comments in the comment section. Also check out my Patreon where you can get access to the Telegram group chat, my articles and unreleased videos as well, that will be linked in the description and comment section.